Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Cards coming back once again with GM Games, and we're going to play a little bit more Total Extreme Wrestling 9 from Grey Dog Software. You know, I tried to run a stream and just walk people through like a couple of my matches, and I had the display on my OBS set up incorrectly. So then we did a video where I sort of walk people through like how to get set up, that sort of thing, start their own save if you haven't played before. So we got that taken care of, but that was not on my main save. So, you know, we run these on Twitch, but then Chris also moves them over to YouTube as well. And there was at least one request asking to check out my personal save. And I figured, hey, I'm playing this tonight anyway. Might as well bring you guys along for the ride. Whether you're here tonight and you want to jump on chat, I do have my other device set up over here. We can chat. Or if you're catching us on YouTube later, you know, we do monitor those comments. And just as soon as I can figure out my login to my Cards YouTube, I'll start responding to some of those. But Chris does a pretty good job responding from the GM Games account. He's interacting with the fans over there. I'm following it. I see it. I just can't interact until I figure out that password. So, but we are in July of 2023, and this is my own personal long-term TCW save. This is the one I'm playing basically every day at this point. And so we're about a year and a half in. We've already had 2 of our Total Mayhems, which is essentially the TCW version of WrestleMania. As you guys can see, we are rocking, if you can see, I assume, the HBK Boyhood Dream shirt. A little bit of gear tonight. We got our CM Punk over here for the background. And we're going to book some wrestling. We're going to check out this save. I'll show you guys my roster and everything. And then we're going to go through, we have a TV tonight. On Tuesdays is when TCW has their TV. And then I'll move in and also book the pay-per-view. I did already sort of write out sort of what I want to do for this particular television show so that I wasn't hemming and hawing here as we walk through this. So I already have a plan for TV. And then when we get to the pay-per-view, I'm really going to let my storylines dictate exactly how I handle that. So, without further ado, now that we can actually see the windows that we're bringing up here, let's check out where I'm at. So, we can bounce over to our corporate screen. You can see here, we're actually second in the world now. We are still behind USPW. Obviously, that's going to be the story for a while. But we are very much ahead of SWF. We have taken them over. We're about, let's take a look here. We're at 86s roughly in the U.S. Similar in Canada. I have been expanding my network so that the Maritimes, Manitoba, BC bumps up a little bit. You know, we're making moves in Mexico and then the rest of the world. Slowly but surely coming along because we've got a broadcaster out there to cover all of that. Then when we go and we can take a look here at SWF, you know, they're 80s in the U.S. We're a good 5-6 points ahead of them. Breeze, what's up, buddy? Good to have you in there. Singing in the shower until you swallow the soap. That's an interesting comment. Okay. So you can see we're crushing SWF in the U.S. 50-50 in Canada. We're doing better in the big territories. They're a little bit ahead of us in the smaller ones. They're ahead of us in Mexico by quite a bit. And then the rest of the world actually think we have the advantage. So we are second in the world with our TCW company. Show you a quick look here at these finances because you can look at this broadcast revenue, where we're at in July of 22 versus where we're at now. And we still have, I think, 2 TV shows and a pay-per-view this month to go. So our broadcaster is raking in this revenue. And you can see, if you look down here at this media line, we're spending it just as fast as we get it in. Because if you look at a month like January, if you don't spend that money, it goes into miscellaneous and tax, and it just eats you alive. And so I've just been spending, and it's really minimizing those miscellaneous and tax figures. So I'm doing great, Breeze. Glad to hear that you're doing well, buddy. So you can see here, we have $6 million right now in the bank. We're getting close to the end of the month. I don't want to forget to do this. So one of the first things I'm going to do is we're going to go in here to our company screen, and we're going to click on investments, and I'm going to upgrade my own broadcaster. So I've got about $6 million. You can see it's getting pretty expensive to upgrade in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico because we're already at very big. Now, eventually, we do want to get these to enormous, but given how the tax and miscellaneous expenses really cut into your ability to get massive amounts of money month over month, this will probably take a while. These down here are going to go a bit faster. So I'm going to go ahead. India's a little bit smaller, and I can't remember if Europe or Oceania is the smallest. We're just going to go down the list. We're going to increase Japan to medium, increase Europe to medium. And then, how much money do we have? We're down to 800,000. So we'll run another event, and then we'll probably go back in. Like, after these next two shows, I'll probably go in and upgrade those other two that are down around the $2-3 million mark. But we're doing great on our revenue. We're feeling good money-wise. Not worried about that. I'm not worried, like, when I'm going out and bidding on workers. I don't want to overpay anybody and be wasteful. But, you know, we're doing pretty good. Now, let's go and take a look at our roster. So I know this is another thing that I wanted to show you guys, and I apologize if you hear my dogs being crazy upstairs. Let's go through and we'll take a look at the roster and kind of get an idea of where these guys' popularity is. So you can see Aaron Andrews, 89 overall everywhere. He is our current champ. He won the belt from Jay Cord at Total Mayhem. So this is our current champion, Aaron Andrews, 37 years old. We've got some plans on how we're going to move on from Andrews. And that is coming sooner rather than later. You know, he's not getting younger. And we got some really interesting prospects coming up. But you know, we signed the popular Blackfriar. You know, he's middle of the card. He's recognizable. Had to bring Amazing Al up from our talent, from our developmental, just to get some other guys down into developmental. I'm not going to comment on every one of these guys. You can see Bradley Blaze is one of these guys that's just pushing himself. You know, he's right in that recognizable, well-known area, and this is just him getting himself over. I'm not really trying to push him. We got some developmental guys in here. Chris Flynn doing fine. He's a little banged up right now. Ernest Youngman is on the shelf. He's been hurt since like last October, and he's not coming back till this December. He slipped a disc. I did bring in Ernie Turner as a commenter. You know, he's our color guy. Fine Jimmy Fox is on his way out fairly shortly. He's on time decline. I just don't have anything for him to do. Frankie Boy Fernandez pushing himself up the card. We got Freddie Huggins right in that main event. I did just sign Froschur, so we're going to start working him up the card, but he's not there yet. Greg Gage. Gage, like a month ago, was all like 86s in popularity. But first of all, he offered to put over some of our younger workers, and we took him up on that. And second of all, like, his star quality isn't awesome, so we're letting some other guys take on the load. Speaking of that, here's Hollywood Brett Starr. This is one of the guys that took some pop off of Greg Gage, and he's doing pretty well. And this is who's chasing the title right now. And I think very likely, not at this pay-per-view, but probably the next one, he is going to win it. I did rehire Jack Bruce. He's not wrestling, though. He is our interviewer and just an on-screen personality, but he has huge popularity. And even just as on-screen personality, that's hitting our area battles for his star quality and pop. So, very good hire. Trip asks if I've ever played WMMA 5. Yes, absolutely I have. And I believe I've done at least one video of me playing WMMA 5. I don't know if it's in the GM Games catalog or if I did that on my own. I honestly don't remember. But no, I do play WMMA 5, you know, when the mood strikes me, and that's really enjoyable as well. All right, so moving on, another developmental guy. Here's Jay Cord, obviously the most important part of our entire company. His contract's actually up within the next 3 months, and I will pay whatever it takes to keep him. Jalen Martins, he starts off down in like the 25s for pop. And, you know, another guy, he came up through the TCW developmental. You know, you got to like the guys that come up through your own developmental. And so, but also he's very talented, and he's kind of pushed himself as well. I hired J. Rowe. She was one of our color commentators for a while, but she wasn't really keeping up. So she also does some interviews from time to time, but I'm not using her a lot right now. Casey Glenn, another guy that I absolutely love. If you take a look at his skills, he's a fantastic worker. He's got the psychology. He's got the stamina, and he has 100 star quality. So you can see his performance skills. We don't put him on the mic, but this guy is absolutely, I'm pushing him to the moon. I want that 100 star quality taking effect in my area battles. So Casey Glenn, definitely a guy that we're working on, and he's pushed up really quickly. If you take a look at this progress, you can see we brought him in January, and now here we are in July, and he's gone from completely unimportant to on the cusp of well-known, and he's only going to go up from here. Killer Shark, good guy, doesn't really work for me. Lee Burton's a really good worker. Again, a guy that I'll take a look at his skills. Look at his work. Look at his psychology. Even his skills on the mic. He doesn't have the star quality. This is a perfect mid-card type of guy. I will admit I'd had one too many streamer beverages when I signed him, so I vastly overpaid for him, and that was not my intent. I never would have paid what I did end up paying for him if I were a little bit more clear-headed at the time. But I really like him as a worker. And a lot of these guys are people that you routinely see, like everybody that plays TEW is grabbing these guys. Everybody's grabbing Frankie Boy Fernandez. Everybody's grabbing Aldous Blackfire. I haven't seen people talk about Lee Burton very often, and I've never used him. So I was really excited to get somebody new who's such a good worker who I was excited about. So I'm not going to apologize too much. Now back to the everybody signs him, Logan Wolfsbane. Haven't found room to push him yet. Loxley Robbins is another high star quality guy. I rated the Australian companies and took all their high star quality guys. Loxley Robbins being the lowest rated of those so far, and even he's making his way up the card. Marvel Malloy, he's a tag team specialist, doesn't have a lot to do. Storm Spillane left the company. Masa Kurata, guy from Japan that I pulled in. Again, massive star quality. We're pushing him up the card, although he has been slower. Just brought in Michael Bull as a third referee. Mighty Mo, doing fine. I don't have big plans for him, but he's a very good worker. Appreciate having him on the roster. Mitch Nace is my commentator, and it's interesting. He didn't have good chemistry with Kyle Rhodes, and so I actually benched him before I brought Jack Bruce back. Nace was doing my backstage interviews and everything, and then after my last pay-per-view, Kyle Rhodes got run over by a runaway steamroller and passed away, and so now Mitch is back in the fold. So he's our main lead play-by-play guy. Mitchell Aldred's a good young worker I haven't pushed yet. Nick Booth's nice uppercarter. Here's Nicky Gilbert, another one of the guys that I was talking about that I stole from Australia. This guy is probably, when I say that Hollywood Brett Starr is probably winning the belt, not this pay-per-view but the next one, Nicky Gilbert is where it's going to end up for a while. Papa Swole, Parvan Kishan, fantastic star quality. I've stuck him in this sort of overseas stable with Greg Gage and Casey Glenn. Gage and Glenn both wrestled in Japan. Parvan Kishan's from India, sort of a overseas Eastern Orient kind of thing. Quentin Queen, guy that I just can't keep down. He keeps popping his way back up into the main event. Roderick Remus, same deal. T-Bone Bright, he sticks around. And then Will Beaumont. I intended, he's only 24, and you don't want to push these guys too early in these games because it can lead to bad attributes and personality traits. I intended to push him to the mid card, and then he just kept going. He wouldn't stop gaining popularity. So he's our current TV champ, and eventually, probably within the next year or so, we're going to set him up as the future figurehead of the company, and then probably within 2 years, he'll be the figurehead of the company. Another guy, he's got the star quality. He's got the on-mic skills. He's good enough in the ring. He's going to be the figurehead eventually. And then Wolf Hawkins. What is there to say? Anybody that's played TEW, played TCW, knows Wolf Hawkins is the man. Xavi Ferrara's coming along. That's my roster. That's where we're at right now. Let's get in here and let's book this first show. And then we can see what else we want to talk about. So as I mentioned, I do kind of have a written out plan for this show. I don't tend to do that. I tend to just, you guys know if you've watched my other streams, I'm not the guy that goes in and writes each storyline and perfects each thing. I'm more about running as many shows as I can. I like to watch these guys develop. I like seeing how their skills change, how their popularity changes. And so, again, the way that I play is just a way to play. It's not the way to play. Everybody does it differently. We're not giving anybody the night off. Select the venue. I like to go through and find a place I haven't been to recently. So let's see. Oh, we haven't been to the Northwest since April. That works for me. We'll still get 14,000 fans. We want to find ourselves a 15,000 seat arena right there. We're going to the Oregon Gardens. Booking team meeting generated 250. We still have 210. I spam creative finishes. So we're going for creative finishes nonstop here. Big gamble. I discard big gambles. Extremely risky, anything like that. Let's get us another one. Here we go. All right, so we got a near certainty finish. That'll go for our main event, likely. Safe bet finish. That's good for the undercard. And bit G finish. We might throw that one in there somewhere. We'll see. Maybe in our like storytelling match or something. See what's going on in the locker room. Oh, we're already to training. That's usually the last thing that pops up. No. Greg Gage and Mass Mahler getting along. Mighty Mo driving Robin Collins is a developmental guy. Well, actually, I think he might have been a graduate. I don't remember exactly, but he's a young guy. We're working on him. Shared love of Batman for Jimmy Fox and Mo. Jalen Martins has an idea for a creative finish, so we'll see if that's any good. Masakurada with an angle idea. Okay. All right, that's our backstage incidents. Let's address the locker room. For TV, I always do team bonding, and you'll see it's mostly getting me and the stars and the major stars getting us together, increasing our relationships. That's fine. You typically get that. I will use this. Inspire is really the only one that I use a lot, other than team bonding, and that one is really only available every other pay-per-view. So I'll use it as often as it's available up until early in the year because I do want to save it for Total Mayhem in May. All right, you can see how our last show went. Now, I will say, since Kyle Rhodes got run over by that steamroller, I only have Ernie on color. I don't have 2 color commentators. I've got a short list for some other color commentators that I want to bring in. I don't have them yet. I'm not going to have them for about 60 to 75 days before I can. Well, it's about 30 days before I can start trying to bid on them, and then it'll be 60 to 75 before they actually join. But it's Bree Belden, I think is her name, and she's a very good color commentator. I'm going to spend like crazy. I tried to get Emily McQueen. I didn't spend enough. I wanted to try her out and see if she had chemistry with the other announcers. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm just going to spend like crazy to bring in Bryden, and then if she doesn't work out, we'll come up with a new plan. But that's where we're headed right now. I say that to say our commentary team is dragging all of our matches down and our show rating by somewhere between like 2 to 5 points. So if my commentary team was right, all of this and this is all 2 to 5 points higher. I don't know exactly how much, but so we will see as we run through this. You'll see the negative notes, but I'm not getting the ratings I typically get on this save until I figure out my commentary team. And once I figure them out, then they've got to gain experience together. So your commentary teams have an experience level that you have to work out. How's the game compare differ from WMMA 5, and do I prefer which one? This one, the main difference in this game, other than, I think this game has some more options than WMMA 5. The main difference to me is in this one, you pick who wins and, you run storylines. Whereas I do appreciate sometimes, if I don't want to try to be creative and I don't want to have to think, I can just jump into WMMA 5 and it's a very similar game. And then you're just picking who's on the hot streak, who's ready for the title opportunity. And so it's sort of, in WMMA 5, the engine of the game kind of creates or charts the course. Whereas in this game, you decide how it's going to go. So I do appreciate in this one, I feel like I can develop people better. I feel like I can be more intentional about what I'm doing in this game. Whereas WMMA 5, it's more like the workers are going to develop how they develop. What are you going to do about it? In this one, I could take a younger worker and put him in a program with an older worker, and he's going to, some of those skills are going to bleed off, right? They're going to learn from who they're in a program with. So it's different flavors of a similar game. Personally, I find myself playing this more often, but WMMA 5 definitely has a place in my heart. No, Jaron, I did not stream everything up to July 23. I only have one other stream out there from this save, and my display settings were screwed up, so all the individual windows didn't show up. When I stream, I talk a lot, it'd be a whole bunch of delay, and also, it's sort of distracting to have to talk through your thought process as you go. And so, honestly, I get better ratings when I'm not streaming because 100% of me is focused on this. And when I'm streaming, I'm trying to talk to you guys and keep everybody entertained. Yeah, my other color commentator died. He got run over by a steamroller. It was after the pay-per-view, too. Like, I ran my last pay-per-view. I had a fantastic score. I don't remember. I think like an 89, 90, something like that. And I was pretty excited. And so I hit the next button, like to go to the next day. And it was like, tributes pour in for Kyle Rhodes. And yeah, he got run over by a steamroller. So, and it was actually quite suspicious because, like I told you guys, I brought in Mitch Nace to be the play-by-play guy. He wasn't working out, so I put him on interviews, put Sean Dokes back on the play-by-play. And then, so Mitch Nace is doing interviews, and then I went out and hired Jack Bruce to take over that role, to be my on-screen personality and run the interviews, because Jack Bruce is fantastic. Who wouldn't want to bring in Jack Bruce? So Mitch Nace was basically in limbo, like he didn't have a position in the company. And the same day Jack Bruce debuted, at Excessive Force, that night Kyle Rhodes got run over by a steamroller. Now, I'm not saying Mitch Nace killed him, but I've got questions. All right, guys, let's start booking this. Again, I've got notes. I know how I want it to go, roughly, and so we'll see. Our main event is going to be a tag. Oh, I can show you guys the storylines just real quick. Aaron Andrews versus Hollywood Brett Starr. Obviously, that's our heavyweight title feud. We've got Jay Cord, who just came off the loss to Aaron Andrews at Total Mayhem. So we're putting him over Mighty Mo in a feud. Then I took Loxley Robbins, Nikki Gilbert, and Will Beaumont, all from Australia. So I threw them in a stable called Awesome Aussies. Got them going against the Syndicate. And you can see we still got Wolf Hawkins. We've still got Jalen Martins. I tossed out Doc Hammond. You know, his contract was up. He was old. He was kind of useless. I threw in Massacrata because of that star quality and because I want to get him over and I feel like he can fit in. And then I discovered that Wolf Hawkins and Nick Booth have great tag team chemistry. So that's obvious. Like Nick Booth was just sort of in the mid card, not really doing much. Toss him into this stable. He's ready to go. Mitch Nace he wasn't working because he had poor chemistry with Kyle Rhodes. So I was getting the chemistry hit every time. And so I found that my commentary was actually better with Dokes and Rhodes than it was with Nace and Rhodes. But now that Rhodes is dead, Mitch Nace is back in. Your Hall of Fame champion died after his 5th title defense. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's an interesting sandbox. You can control most of it, but the game's always going to throw these little, you know, each game's going to have its own style, its own flavor. Our other ongoing storyline is the main event, and you can see I have thrown Frankie Boy Fernandez into the main event, and then he's going. I called this stable Beast from the East. Like I said, it was Casey Glenn and Greg Gage, who had both worked in Japan. They're both fantastic workers, and then also Parvin Kashan with all that star quality. I want to start having a reason to move him up the card, so I threw him in here. I found too often he was ending up on my pre-show. That's not where I want him. I want him in that sweet spot that I was trying to get Will Beaumont right in that mid card. So we'll see once he gets there. Does he push himself into the main event too early like Beaumont did? Or can we hold him in that mid card for a few years and, you know, let that simmer? But these are the storylines we're going through. So right off the bat. And I don't know, that exclude already booked button, that should be the default. So I don't know why it's not, but if anybody out there is listening and has some input, please make that the default. All right, so our main event tonight, we're going to throw Greg Gage and Casey Glenn into a tag match against the main event. And this is going to be Freddie Huggins and Roderick Remus. So I know you guys are saying, like, hey, H2O, Freddie Huggins and Matt Hawking, that's the tag. Like, they have the chemistry. And you're right. But Remus is the better worker, and I've actually already run some H2O against the Aussies. So we're going to have Matt Hawking do something different tonight, and we're going to run Huggins and Remus. And because Huggins and Remus aren't the natural tag, I feel better about putting Greg Gage over in this. So that'll be our tag. We'll auto-name it. We're going to give him about 22 minutes. Greg Gage is going to win it. We're going to keep it nice and open, build it slowly, and let's get that near certain finish in. Just looking at what our other ones are. All right, so near certain finish, boom. Because this is our main event, we want to make sure we have our best workers on it. So I think Ray Johnson, 81 to 89. Yeah, Ray Johnson's slightly better. Pistol Pete Hall is our best road agent. So this is the staff that will run. We don't need any titles. Let's book it. Semi-main event. We are going to have a 4v4. So we are going to take those awesome Aussies, which is Nikki Gilbert, Loxley Robbins, and Will Beaumont. And we're going to throw in one other of our main event star level faces, T-Bone Bray. T-Bone's not currently in a feud. I find it's helpful to me to leave a couple of the like main event star kind of guys out of a feud so I can throw them into something like this, because they're going to face off against the entire syndicate. So we got Wolf, we got Jalen Martins, Nick Booth, and where is our other syndicate guy? Wolf, Nick, Jalen, and Masakurata. All right, so the syndicate versus the Aussies plus T-Bone. Should be another good match. We'll give them 20 minutes to run it out. And in this one, so I want Nikki Gilbert to go over at the pay-per-view, so I'm going to let Wolf Hawkins win tonight. Again, we're going to keep it nice and open. We're going to build it slowly. We're going to go get that safe bet creative finish. Oh, we got a safe bet Hawkins finish, so let's use that instead. That way we save the one that can be applied to anyone. All right, so now we got our main event and our pre-main event. Got those two set. Now we want to do our first angle. And so to set up that match that I just did, this is going to be... We're going to give in the ring, cutting a promo. The syndicate's going to be out there talking some trash, and that's what's going to set up this match tonight. So Wolf Hawkins is going to be cutting the promo. The rest of the syndicate is just going to be in the background. I don't feel like... Jalen Martins is decent on the mic. Maybe we let him talk. He can cut a promo. I'm not sure on Nick Booth. I know Masakurata is not great on the mic. I'm pretty sure. And even if he is, his pop is not high enough to really be using him that much. And so we'll let the targets be the Aussies. All right, so we've got this set up. This is a promo in the ring. They talk a bunch of trash. Aussies music hits, comes out. They do the 4x4. And then, of course, like they come out, and then T-Bone is that last one that hits, and the crowd pops for the extra guy they were not expecting. So that's our promo. Now, I told you I had something else for Matt Hawking to do. And we are just trying to get Parvin Kashan on TV as much as possible. Get him some experience with some older guys. So I don't mind him picking up losses. His pop's still really low. And Matt Hawking needs a bit of a pick-me-up. We're going to let this run 12 minutes. I don't expect a fantastic grade here because Hawking's not great and Kashan's still very young. And so we're totally going to make this our storytelling match. Each different promotion in TEW has certain matches that you have to have every show. TCW, you got to have one storytelling and one wild brawl. And the storytelling usually takes a few points off of the match grade because the workers are holding back. You know, they're not going all out or anything. They're holding back trying to tell this story. So, and also when you talk about perfect show theory, like how you want to build it up and then cool the audience down and then blow it off big, you don't want to burn the audience out. So usually I like to have my main event, my pre-main event, and then I like to have this kind of cool down storytelling match as sort of third to last. So that's what we're going to do here. It's going to be storytelling. Matt Hawking will win it. We're going to call it in the ring. That's fine. Kashan can do that. And we are going to have it as an open match. I like to have any time, especially like if I have very different levels. Like Hawking is well known. Kashan is recognizable, I believe. So when I have those differences in their pop and their recognizability, how much the audience is into it, I like to make sure that I make it open. So it's going to be an open match. You can book that. That's our storytelling match. That's fine. Now we're going to have a match, just a couple of guys that don't really have another spot on the show. And we're going to let them work with a couple of youngsters. And so should we make this? I'm trying to decide if this or the other match I got scheduled should be our Wild Brawl. I think we'll save the Wild Brawl for now. So, I've previously found that Spencer Edmond and Stevie Stanley have good chemistry, and I'm probably going to turn them into a tag team eventually. I just haven't done it yet. Is deathmatch legit? Will the loser actually die? I don't believe so, no. I think it's just a very hardcore match, and I don't run those types of matches in this promotion. There's certain promotions, like I said earlier, different promotions want different things. There's some very specific companies you would want to have to go to do a death match. And as far as future GM games I'm looking forward to, I always look forward to the new Wolverine Studios college basketball game every single year. And I always look forward to new TEW releases. So we just got a TEW release, and I'm going to be parked right here for the night running through this. So we got Spencer and Stevie. These are young guys. They don't have a whole lot of popularity. We're going to throw them in with a couple of guys that are a little bit more seasoned, and especially with Quentin Queen here, he's seen as a major star. So we get the young guys some experience, get them in the ring with some guys. Like I said earlier, we're trying to bleed off some of those in-ring skills. Quentin Queen is going to win, but again, we're going to keep it open. We want it to look like it's a back and forth. And here we can go and grab that generic. No, let's save that generic safe bet for our Wild Brawl, which is going to be the other match. Spread this out a little because I think I need to take up some more time. Yeah. Oh, I'm taking up 82 minutes. All right, maybe we back off of it eventually. Now we're going to run an absolute brawl in the backstage. This is one of our big storylines. This is J-Cord. This is Mighty Mo. And they're just going to beat each other in the backstage for about 8 minutes. All right. So we're keeping our angles going. Along with that, actually, let me think. I want to move that up because I kind of like running match angle, match angle, match angle, swapping back and forth. So we're going to move it up because we do have another angle that I want to book here. And that's going to be another quick add angle. And we're just going to do a backstage interview. We'll keep it a little bit shorter because this is one of our lesser known wrestlers. It's going to be a backstage interview. And this is going to be Aldous Blackfire. He's very good on the microphone. And he's going to get interviewed by Jack Bruce, who's fantastic on the microphone. So we auto-name and book that. All right, now we're going to get to our Wild Brawl. So we're at 92 minutes. We need 23 more minutes booked. Wrote down the wrong thing over here, but I know what I meant. All right. And so this is going to be a 3v3. And again, we want to get some of these young guys on screen. And get the audience familiar with them. So Peverall, Bradley Blaze is a really good worker, as I mentioned earlier, and then Lee Burton, who I'm paying way too much not to be on TV all day, every day. Then when we look at the heels we want to put them with, we're going younger guys who can really go in the ring. So Mitchell Aldred, who was the architect for anybody from the older TEW games, he was with Maw as the architect. He's now Mitchell Aldred with TCW. We're also going to throw in Logan Wolfsbane and Xavi Ferrara. All three of these guys are eventually going to be into the mid-card. Maybe one day they get their shot. But they're fantastic workers. They're really valuable in a company like this. We'll also give them 12 minutes. And we are going to have, I think we'll have Lee Burton win, honestly. Normally I'd have Bradley Blaze, but I would kind of like to push Lee Burton because he is just so fantastic all around. This is our Wild Brawl. We'll keep it open. And now we're going to hit that safe bet creative finish. All right, that's 107 minutes. We need 8 more minutes to proceed. And we have got our TV opener. Everybody tunes in. Like, if you follow Monday Night Raw, it's like the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes is always the best, right? So here we go. We are going to quick at an angle. And this one's going to be a contract signing between Aaron Andrews, current heavyweight champion of the world, and Hollywood Brett Starr. And, of course, our host moderator for the night, Jack Bruce. And we're going to run this for 10 minutes. Like, this is big. This is what everybody tuned in to see. Ace Andrews, Hollywood Brett Starr. Sign that contract, boys. Auto-name it. Book it. All right, so we're green down here. If you have problems with the show, this will stay red or maybe even yellow. We're green, that means we're good to go. We take a look at booking analysis. We got no notes. We've included all of our stars. Chris Wynn's carrying an injury, so I don't necessarily want him wrestling, so that's fine for him to be sitting out. Some of these other guys, we're going to throw into some stuff pre-show. Because we do want them working. Just because they're not popular, we do still want them working. So what I'll honestly do, I always throw one of these 5v5s into my pre-show. And I want a couple of young guys and plus somebody talented on each one. Again, we're talking about just bleeding off skills and stuff. Frosher's in. We definitely want Me Machine, Papa Swole, Robin Collins, and, you know, we can throw Jimmy Fox in. He's not great, but he can teach the youngsters something, right? All right, we want Amazing Al, Bret Heartbreak. I think I'll let Eddie Chandler be the more veteran guy over here, and then we'll get James Carter. And who else do we want? Seth Whitehood, Historian, Mass Mahler are all pretty young guys. So let Mahler go. And I think we'll have Frosher win this. And I'm going to remove this called in the ring. So the younger guys, they don't have enough psychology to do this called in the ring note. So we're just going to take it out. And we will keep the match nice and open because I think I might have a recognizable guy in here. Maybe not. And then also along with that, I want to keep working Frosher. Actually, I don't think we have Jaffe Lane doing anything. And sometimes he can be decent on the mic. I want to build him up so that eventually he can be a mid-card kind of guy. And maybe let's let him instead... Nah, he'll just cut a promo in the ring. He'll come out, open up the show, cut a promo in the ring. Give him 6 minutes, see what he can do with the stick. That is in the pre-show, though. All right, so we're still green. Hit the booking analysis. Still nothing going on here. No big names that haven't gotten onto the show. All right, so we're going to run this show. Then we're going to sprint to the pay-per-view. So let's see how this goes. Like I said, we'll get 2 to 5 points lower in every segment and overall because of our announce team. But I think this will be decent still. You know, we have 86 pop in the U.S., so as long I think we have like a 5-point swing. It's got to be 5 points better than your pop to raise it. And I don't know if it's 5 points worse to drop it, but this will be better than an 81 show, I'm pretty sure, unless these creative finishes really screw me. All right, so Jaffe Lane with the 46. That's fine. This is just practice. 56 here. Let's see. Frosher stood out with a 61. Bret Heartbreak with a 63, so it looks like Bret Heartbreak's developing pretty nicely. Happy to see that. All right, so we get into our main show. This contract signing, as I figured, 88. Boom. Right out of the gate. We've got a fantastic angle. This wild brawl did very well. The creative finish was a success. We pulled an 80 out of... Not one of these guys is well-known or better. These are all just recognizable guys. So you can see Lee Burton did really well. So did Logan Wolfsbane. So those are guys that are kind of going to push themselves over time. Got the Jack Bruce Aldis Blackfire interview. Nothing fantastic, but workable. You know, we're getting Blackfire out there. We're getting him over. This little tag match that we had. Quentin Queen, Frankie Boy, they did their thing. And we weren't expecting anything big out of this. The 78 is actually fantastic. And we're not taking those commentary hits yet because these segments haven't been good enough. Maybe that first one with the contract signing probably took a hit. All right, so again, we get a brawl between Jay Cord and Mighty Mo, and you can see deserve better commentary, deserve better color. That's going to happen. This should be much closer to like an 88. Hawkin and Kashan, this was just telling our story. It's fine for it to be relatively low. We're getting good experience. And Kashan held his own in the ring. I mean, compared to Hawkin, there's not that big of a difference. All right, so now we're getting into the meat of the show, really. All right, so here's our promo. So we got Jalen Martins and Wolf, along with everybody else just sort of standing around being a background player or off screen. That pulled an 80. Not fantastic, but it'll do. All right, here's our pre-main event, pulling in an 81, and again, deserve better color. Wolf, really good. Nikki Gilbert, really good. Beaumont and T-Bone, really good. Loxley Robbins is struggling. So, you know, I've got big hopes for him. He's got really good star quality, but he has been struggling. And now our main event. So let's hope something in the high 80s here. But realistically, 84 or above is fine. And we pull a 92. Casey Glenn is fantastic. Greg Gage is fantastic. Huggins and Remus did enough. Deserve better commentary and color. Shoot, this could have been 93, 94, 95 with decent commentary. But Casey Glenn, Greg Gage, so happy with those guys. Really good show overall, and that pulls a 90, even with our bad commentary problems. So this is fantastic. It's going to increase our popularity, and we'll get the summary of that here in just a second. Here's our financial report. As I mentioned, I just keep pumping money into this broadcaster, and it just shows up as profit. I'm making $3.2 million a show at this point. I can go upgrade my broadcaster again right now, which I will. Popularity recap: we didn't grow in the States, as I mentioned. I would have needed at least a 91, if not a 92, to grow in most of these areas. But that show made us more popular in most of the world. Anywhere that's yellow on this screen, we're getting more popular. The number doesn't have to change for our popularity to be growing. So, we're slowly on the march to from a big company to a huge company. To get huge, I'll have to hit, I think, 77 across everything in either Canada or Mexico. So Canada should hit it first. And then after that will be Titanic. And I don't remember exactly what I have to do for that. But it's all a ways away. No rush. I'm having fun booking these matches, growing these workers. I love to see how guys like Will Beaumont and Roderick Remus just sort of push themselves into like being the stars and the major stars. All right, so we'll just advance through this. A lot of times I go through after every single show and just check like what the popularity changes were. There shouldn't have really been anything too big last night that changed. All right, Floyd Goldworthy has gone. We let that expire. J. Cord does not like Bret Heartbreak. Interesting. I get a lot of guys that like another wrestler. I don't very often get one that doesn't like another wrestler. And we got almost 7 million views, guys. I think my last show was more like 6.2, 6.3. So this show was a little bit higher quality. And, we did upgrade a couple of our broadcasting areas. And while we're thinking about it, let's go do that again. We got 3.8 million. Let's upgrade. Where do we want to go? I think Oceania. Or we save it and hit one of the other territories again, like Japan. 6.9. I bet my pay-per-view can get me above 6.9. So I'm going to save it until after my pay-per-view. See if I can get that 6.9. And honestly, what's today? 26? 27th is Thursday. 28th, 30th. Oh. So the thing is, does July only have 30 or 31 days? I think it has 31, right? Because if I get past the pay-per-view and have that money, I don't want it to roll over a month and hit me with the tax. I think I'm fine. I think I can upgrade that on Monday, and it should be July 31st. And there's probably a calendar somewhere in here. I just don't know where it is. I don't hit that button very often. So we're going to push on. We're going to push right through to our pay-per-view. And then I'm just going to book it. Like, I don't have any notes on this or anything. I'm just going to book sort of how I normally book. It'll be a stream of conscious. I'll tell you what I'm thinking as I go. Obviously, Aaron Andrews and Hollywood Bret Starr will be the main event. Aaron Andrews just won the title a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, so he's not going to lose it yet. But I do think we're going to do some kind of tainted victory because, as I mentioned, Starr is going to win the belt at the next pay-per-view. Just kind of checking through here on the notes. Anything interesting? Any of my color commentators get run over by a steamroller? No, we're good. Push on. Usually anything that affects your company, you're going to get mail about it. But I like to just sort of browse through the big stories, especially like if SWF or USPW are trying to re-sign somebody, because that's your opportunity to sign them away. Like if you don't have somebody on a short list, they're still going to pop up in there. So you never know when you're going to see somebody interesting. Usually if I see them trying to re-sign somebody, I'll at least take a look and see if I have any interest. See, I missed out on Mainstream Hernandez somehow. And I really like him, although he is 37. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone 60,000. He's a good worker, though. He does have the star quality. If he were pushed a little bit harder, he could be definitely a useful member of the roster. But like, my roster's kind of full right now. I've got a lot of these spots filled. Like, I've got 2 or 3 guys like Mainstream Hernandez. So I don't know how much value he would have added, especially at 37, not knowing whether or not he's in time decline. You know, at best, you give him a 2 or 3 year deal. So I'm not going to lose sleep over somebody like that. Now, in TEW 2016, I'd go to war for Mainstream Hernandez for sure. Just looking through here, nothing interesting in the news, no mail. Dwayne Fry wins another award. Dwayne Fry is winning all kinds of awards for best play-by-play commentator. No news, nothing too interesting there. So, we got our pay-per-view tonight, right? Let's get it going. All right, nobody's getting the night off. TCW Summer Showdown, baby. Highly regarded, normal event. Nobody's getting the night off. Let's see. I love running my pay-per-views in the Mid-South where I'm based. Working for 40,000 fans. Let's get a 50,000 seat arena. I know the first one was 50, but I want to run it somewhere I haven't run before. I think I did my last one in Dallas, so we're going to do this in Denver, Colorado. Final as broadcasters, very important when you get here. Make sure that you, just because they're up here doesn't mean you're using them. After you select it, use this broadcaster. I forgot that a few times. It really screwed me. I don't need to use USA Free Choice. This is a pay-per-view company with big coverage across the states, but my network already has very big coverage across the states. This deal is just here until it expires, and then it'll be gone, and I'll run everything through my network, which I already do. So we'll use this selection. That's fine. Booking team meeting. Once again, we got 207, so we got 177 saved up. These are all going to be creative finishes. Couple of safe bets. A safe bet with Freddie Huggins only. Okay. Locker room incidents. Xavi Ferrara wants One Man Army to hang out backstage. One Man Army is an older worker. He happens to live by. And yeah, we're going to let him backstage, no problem. Mighty Mo and Quentin Queen get into it a little bit. Hawking and Lane hanging out. Casey Glenn and Lee Burton got in a bust-up. James Carter getting ribbed. Creative finish for Seth Whitehead. That's not happening. All right, nothing crazy. Let's address them. And we can inspire again. So we last inspired in May. Let's go ahead and give that inspirational speech. Get everybody pumped up. All right, here we go. Main event. We already talked about it. It's Aaron Andrews, and it's Hollywood Brett Starr. We'll give them, I'll say, so I think when Brett Starr takes it, I'm going to throw in an all-out match note and maybe do like a stipulation. Maybe we do like Iron Man or something. For this one, we're just going to do 25 minutes. Andrews is still going to win it. It is a slow build, of course. But I do want a tainted win here. I'm trying to think if there's anybody I want to include in it. There's really not. No, so my long-term idea is, even though I don't have them in a storyline right now, the Syndicate is like, they hate Aaron Andrews. And so eventually, like when Hollywood Brett Starr wins it at the next pay-per-view, that's going to be because Wolf Hawkins is going to interfere and cause that to happen. So I think what I'll actually do here, we'll call a tainted win, and this is going to be a botched interference. So Wolf Hawkins is going to come out and try it, screw it up, and Andrews still wins. And then at the next one, he's going to do it again, and then that'll lead into a storyline with Andrews and the Syndicate. So Hollywood Brett Starr is actually accidentally going to get hit by Wolf Hawkins here. Accidentally hit by Wolf Hawkins is the finish. Hit that creative finish, get safe bet 2. Staffing wise, we want our best referee on it. We want our best road agent on it. And we're going to book it. Oh, we got to put our title on the line. Now we're going to book it. All right, so there's our main event. We're ready to go. Semi-main is going to be... You know what? Yeah, I think we just go J-Chord and Mighty Mo. J-Chord and Mighty Mo. And we could slow build this again. But I think both of these guys... 77 to 85 stamina. I was thinking about doing a wild brawl here. But there's no need to do that. We can run this 22 minutes. We can slow build it. J-Chord's going to win. Obviously, J-Chord's staying right at the top of my card. He's going nowhere. He's our most over guy. He's our best worker. I'm not pissing him off at all. I'm not giving him any reason to even think about being anywhere else. And we really need all his popularity and star quality in the area battles. So he's going to win it. It'll be built slowly. We'll let him win clean. And we'll use that safe bet. We don't have one for Jay, right? You know, we do have the safe bet Andrew's finish. All right, so let's book this. Let's go back to our main event and change it. We don't need that SB2. We want the SB Andrews finish. Save the other for someone else. All right, so there's our main event. There's our pre-main event. Before this pre-main, let's let Mighty Mo work the crowd a little bit, yeah? For about 4 minutes. And I think, like, to me, working the crowd is like the Rock going out there. You know, you're just getting them all built up. That's how I see it. I don't know if other people see it the same way. Maybe that should be cut in a promo. But Mighty Mo does pretty good work in the crowd, so we're going to let him work. Now, I do want to run a singles match. Like, how do I want this to go? Maybe we run... let's do a Nikki Gilbert, Wolf Hawkins. And Nikki Gilbert will eventually go over. But this feud isn't over yet. So Wolf's going to win it. And let's have somebody from the Syndicate interfere. And this will be our wild brawl. No. Let's just do another storytelling. Let's go 18 minutes. Let's let Wolf Hawkins win it. We can build it slow. Tainted win. And outside interference. We'll have Nikki Gilbert gets interfered with by Masakurata. Now we can use that safe bet too. All right, cool. So let's get on to our other stable, which is going to be Beast from the East versus the main event. It's going to be Greg Gage, Casey Glenn, and Parvin Kashan. And then main event, we've got Huggins. Hawking, Remus. This should be a pretty good match as well, but we do need to cool the crowd down at some point. So let's go ahead and do our storytelling here. And let's let Freddie Huggins win it. Eventually, when we blow this feud off, Casey Glenn's going to go over because we're trying to push him hard. But for now, Freddie Huggins has been pretty consistent in this one. We do need to keep it open so that Kashan stays a part of it. We're going to tell a story. And do we have a creative finish on Huggins? Feel like we did? Yeah. Safe bet Huggins finish. Boom. Done. What's our booking analysis saying? No matches that are a wild brawl. Kashawn being used too much. That's fine. All right, so Jack Bruce needs to be in Queen and Bright and Beaumont. We don't have Will Beaumont doing anything. We also don't have the rest of the Aussies doing anything at all. So they're going to jump into a tag team. All right, so let's do this. We'll go with a tag team. And this will be Will Beaumont and Loxley Robbins. And what heels do we want to throw into this? It's like exclude already booked. Like I said, that should come checked automatically. I don't know why it doesn't. I think we throw them some of the young guns that can go. Wolfsbane and Aldred. We do want to get Frankie Boy. We want to get Quentin Queen out there. We'll work on that here in a second. Nice and quick. Let's let Loxley win. We need him to get over eventually. This gives Ozzy something else to do, sort of as a team, getting him out there. 104 minutes. We still have plenty of time. So let's get Quentin Queen involved. He can go against Bradley Blaze. And again, some of these guys, some of this, again, I don't write out every one of these stories. So some of these things are just keeping my main wrestlers, keeping my stars involved, keeping them doing interesting things against talented workers, right? So I'm not getting overly lost in the story, but I do want to keep people involved. I want to keep developing my workers and my company. So this is a wild brawl. It's called in the ring. It's going to be open as well, but Quentin Queen is going to be the winner here. And then we also want to get Frankie Fernandez. Who else do we need to get out there? Jack Bruce has got to be having something to do. T-Bone Bright. How about we have T-Bone go over Frankie Boy? Again, this is just keeping our stars going over our mid-carders. Even though Frankie Boy's fantastic. This should be a really good match, actually. Let's give him 12 minutes. T-Bone's going to win it. Keep it open. Ready to go. Fairly good match to open on. They're booking analysis now. Ray Johnson has too much refereeing. Well, that's why we brought in a third referee, ladies and gentlemen. Let's let Michael Bull run that. And one more time, booking analysis. We need Jack Bruce in there. And he is just going to walk in. What do we want to do here? Cut a promo. Jack Bruce is going to walk in, and this is going to be sort of like, this is our main on-screen interviewer guy. This is our on-screen personality. Let's let him just walk down to the ring, and he is good. Like, if he wasn't fantastic, like a legend, I would give him shorter. This is a legend. Like, think about people popping for Stone Cold or The Rock or something. We're giving him 8 minutes in the ring to just cut a promo. And he's going to talk about our stars. He's going to talk about our main event guys. He's also going to talk a little bit about Nikki Gilbert. All right, so let's fill that in. Auto name, book it. All right, so now our booking analysis. Jalen Martins is missing the show. Malloy's missing the show. We could throw them in a quick match if we wanted to. We could also, I want to keep running Blackfriar. We'll give him something short with Jack Bruce in the back. And we'll move that on up into the middle of all these matches. I just like to break up. Like, I don't want to have 4 matches in a row with no angles. So, angle, few matches, angle, few matches, angle, few matches. So, this is going to work for my pay-per-view, guys. This is what we got set up. We are going to go in and make sure we've got our pre-show. Keep these young guys wrestling. Freeman's in. Lee Burton got to do something, man. Mean Machine, Papa Swole. And Stanley. Stanley's a really good worker. Amazing Al, Bret Heartbreak, James Carter. You know what, we will throw Jalen Martins in here for the experienced guy. And Zavi. We'll let Jalen go over. Pull the call in the ring. Add the open. Boom. Still green. Looking good. All right, let's check this out. This will end our stream for the night. But you're watching TCW Summer Showdown 2023, baby. Here with cards, here with GM Games, running some Grey Dog software, TEW IX. Let's wrestle. Start the show. All right, so in our pre-show, we pulled a 71 in the pre-show. I mean, I guess Jalen Martin's being in there helped, but look at the workers we got in there. Stanley, who got under a 50? Mean Machine. Duke Freeman even broke 50. And Al Morian didn't get there. Jalen Martin's had an 83. Bret Heartbreak, Zavi broke 60. Lee Burton's at 73. Like, Stanley and Papa Swole both broke 60. That is a hell of a pre-show match, guys. 71? That's crazy. I have such good young workers. This is why, we keep developing them. And then I want to throw them on TV whenever I can to put over some of the other guys. But these guys will have their time in the sun. These are all great workers. All right, so we're going to start it off. We got Jack Bruce out there just running his mouth about how great the show is going to be, and that pulls an 84. Not shabby. You know, we don't need fantastic angles on a pay-per-view. We want good matches, but this is okay. T-Bone and Frankie Boy almost got to 80. And you can see, the commentary is just killing us, you guys. Got to get that fixed. You know, watch out for steamrollers in your games is the best advice I can give you. Because Kyle Rhodes going down to a steamroller really has put us behind the 8 ball. All right, we got our Wild Brawl. That pulled a 75. You can see Quentin Queen doing most of the heavy lifting there. Bradley Blaze still putting out a good effort. The Aussies versus some of the younger guys. Pretty good match. Beaumont carries it. Almost hits an 80. I like that. So our undercard's looking pretty good so far. Blackfire not quite there yet, but his pop's still only around 50. So we need to get him in some more matches on television and get him some wins because he is fantastic with the microphone. Oh, wow. So we got an 86 out of the Aussies in the main event. Oh, that's fantastic. Of course, Kashan's really low. Greg Gage with a 95. Roderick Remus. Matt Hawking did not do great. Remus did okay. But you can see Greg Gage really carrying that. But Casey Glenn coming through with a second. Casey Glenn's going to be great. He's still growing in popularity. When he gets up into the 80s, maybe high 80s, he's going to be putting up 99s and 100s. He's going to be fantastic. All right, so we pulled an 86 off of that, so already our match is looking good. Nikki Gilbert and Wolf Hawkins throw up an 88. No surprise there. Wolf Hawkins with 100. Gilbert with the 96. Nikki Gilbert and Wolf Hawkins have great chemistry. So with all these ratings, with all this heat, we still only get an 88 because our commentary is killing us. We not only got bad commentary and bad color, but we also got the Ernie Turner was weak. If we get rid of those, this is a mid to high 90s match. Maybe 100. I don't know. Maybe 100. They put up 100 and a 96. It's got a hot storyline. The creative finish was a success. It's just the commentary is destroying us. All right, Nikki Gilbert and Wolf Hawkins did good, and that wasn't even our pre-main event. So we got Mighty Mo working the crowd. He pulls another 88. Now we got Mo versus Jay Cord. They grab a 92. Both fantastic performances. Love to see it. And so we should be on to the main event. Aaron Andrews, Hollywood Brett Starr, throw up a 95. All of it deserves better commentary. This show's going to be fantastic, and it should have been 3 to 4 points better. We got a 95 overall show rating. If we had the right commentary in place, this probably isn't a 100 show, but it's in contention. It's probably like a 97 or higher. It gained its popularity every single region that we have coverage. So that was a really fantastic show. And again, like I said, I had TV written down. I didn't have this written down. I just let my storylines kind of carry me through it, and I talked through the process as I went. And you can pretty consistently do this if you've got workers that are over, workers that are good, workers with high star quality, and you book smart, you can throw this stuff up. It's not all that difficult. We're going to address the locker room. We're going to tell them all how awesome they did. Nikki Gilbert was great. Jay Cord was fantastic. He always is. Hollywood Brett Starr was great. I hit the wrong button. Actually, Casey Glenn, let's give him some love. And Aaron Andrews, as always, give the champ his due diligence. His dues rather. Kids call it flowers now. All right, $4.7 million off the pay-per-view, so that's pretty solid financially, and that should. Oh, and here we go. Oh, we're up to 87 all across the states. We might be tied or above USPW in the states. But we gained popularity in a lot of places. Look at Mexico, guys. We gained 2 points in all but one region of Mexico. One show, 2 points. I don't see that anywhere else. But we gained a lot in Mexico right there. I guess it's because we're so low and we had the very big coverage. Media scrum, they're going to ask me some questions. Ernie Turner, I try to get past that. Quentin Queen had an off night. He'll be better. Bradley Blaze, he'll be better. Looking at the competition, I don't pay attention to them. Chris Flynn didn't appear. And that's because he was injured. We're just giving him a break. Yeah, he's part of the family. We'll offer him a deal. Jay Cord, we'll do everything we can. Nick Booth didn't appear. Just didn't have anything for him to do. All right, let's see. I think we're going to have a July 31st, right? Is that how July works? I can never remember. I don't even remember the little song or whatever that is supposed to help you keep up with the days. Yay! July 31st. All right, feedback was awesome. Show's getting fantastic reviews. That's fantastic. Let's see, we got a contract offer over here. Matthew Keith. Oh! See, and here's the thing. Do I have this? Yeah, I do. I have him shortlisted. Matthew Keith, we're going to put up an offer on him. Will Beaumont likes Stevie Stanley. Likes Aldred. Likes Al. Got a lot of people. See, we get a lot of people liking a lot of people. Almost 7.6 million viewers for Summer Showdown. All right, let's jump in on... So, anybody that's not familiar with the C-Verse, Matthew Keith is actually Greg Gage's brother. He's got very similar in-ring skills. Maybe a little bit better star quality. I always make a run at a guy like this if I can get him. Take a look at his attributes. They're probably going to be great. Natural trainer, passes on knowledge, professional, very creative, wrestling in the blood. Those are all good attributes. It's saying he'd only cost $34,000 a month. Let's negotiate. We're bringing him in for sure. Greg Gage likes the idea for sure. Let's view these rival offers. So they're offering him. Is this the only one? One other company. They're offering him about $90,000 a month, 4 years. 40% of merch and $65,000 in a signing bonus. We can beat that. And he is 34. Yeah, I like a 4-year deal. And let's give him $100,000 a month. And $100,000 signing bonus. You can have 40% of merch. And you're just events and ATV shows. You don't even have to be on our BTV shows, which I'm no longer running anymore. We're just running ATV shows and events. So let's make that offer. All right, now let's not forget to upgrade our broadcaster because we do have $8.4 million in the bank. So let's just go ahead and upgrade Japan again. I think Japan, out of these, I think Japan's the biggest market. So let's upgrade it. All right, so down to 1.5 million available. We can advance. We're into the new month, and we'll probably stop the stream here. I'm going to stop, see if we got any kind of news stories that we need to cover or anything else that needs to be discussed. But, guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing like how I plan out a booking, how I talk through a booking, my thought process as I go through it. Hope you enjoy this save. It's a cool save. Got a lot of workers I'm really, really happy with. Got a lot of young star quality. Got a lot of guys that are like 30, 32, 34 that I'm really working on. Oh, and here's Belle Bryden. So I told you it was the end, but it's not quite the end. And I'm 100%, we're going to double whatever they want to pay her. So Burning Hammer of the Wrestling Gods up their contract to 112. Their offer is being seriously considered. Oh, and we got a lot of other offers out here. EILL, SWF, 2 years for 112, USPW for 113. All right, so we've got some serious bidding to do here. You know what? Bonus coverage. I'll simulate all the way through next Tuesday. I'm not going to book another show on this stream, but if we can get to the end of either of these bidding wars, I'll let you guys see it. And I'm telling you right now, Matthew Keith, I do have other guys on the roster that can do what he does, so I don't have to go crazy for him. Belle Bryden, I will land. Finished first in the area battle, and again, this is fully due to Jack Bruce. When you take a look here at the area battles, Jack Bruce with that 95 is putting me ahead of USPW. Otherwise, I'd be like an 88, I think. They'd be slightly ahead of me. Now, once I get Casey Glenn up here, once I get, if I can get Loxley Robbins up here, is Nikki Gilbert isn't in my top 5. If Jack Bruce wasn't here, Nikki Gilbert would be 5th. But once I put the title on Nikki Gilbert, he's going to push up into here. Aaron Andrews is slowly going to need to fade off because all the rest of these guys have far more star power. All right, but to the main event, let's see. Is the Matthew Keith one in here listed somewhere? All right, let's go see what Belle Bryden's offer is. One other company, USPW, wants to give her also $90,000 a month for 18 months and a signing bonus. Okay, we're going to offer her 120. And a signing bonus, honestly, 150. And how old is she? She's 40. It doesn't really matter with a commentator. We're just going to give her 5 years. So, never involve in-ring work. Available for all shows. No bonus, 40% of merch. Let's make that offer. All right, now let's go find Matthew Keith. Oopsie. Probably have some. There we go. All right, he's got 5 other offers. Let's see which ones he's considering. He likes this. So 112 a month, 4 years, all shows, ironclad. All right, so just 112 a month. USPW is being considered, 3 years. Okay. SWF not being considered. Not being considered. Not being considered. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we can do you 125. 100,000, 4 years, whatever. Normally, yeah, make that offer. All right, he likes it. All right, let's push on. Oh, no, we're already to Tuesday, you guys. I can't book another show on stream tonight. That was just too much. I'm going to save it here. And so you guys are going to have to check back in. Maybe hit me up on YouTube. Maybe jump into the GM Games Discord, find out where we're at. For some reason in my head, I was making these offers on Wednesday. I forgot that we just ran a pay-per-view and we already have another show to do. So that's it for me tonight. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. I can't wait to do it again. Anybody that's interested in running their own little wrestling profession, wrestling company, booking these shows, developing these superstars, or if you want to get in and do more of the storylines and like dig down deep into that. Again, last stream I called this like the biggest, coolest wrestling sandbox for wrestling fans if you're into this sort of thing, and I fully stand by it. Total Extreme Wrestling 9 is a fantastic booking game from Grey Dog Software, and I'm so happy that it's out. I've been playing the heck out of it, as you can see. So I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I hope you learned something, or maybe just had some fun. Leave me some comments. Reach out to me. Ask questions, and definitely follow up. Are we going to land Matthew Keith? Are we going to land Bell Bryden? TBD. Don't go away. Don't turn the channel. I appreciate you guys for GM Games. This has been Cards. Had a fantastic time, and I'll catch y'all next time.